Alright, guys. So I'm going to do a review of a comic that was sent to me by my good friend Chris, aka the Mount Vernon Kid, and that is Vanish, Volume 1. This is an image book from Donnie Cates and Ryan Stegman. Yep, it's the creative team behind Venom. They got together and were like, hey, let's do a comic that allows us to do all the fun 90s shit, but also we get to say fuck. And that's what happens. Now, the best way to describe Vanish is The Boys meets Harry Potter. That's literally that's the best way I could describe this. The Boys meets Harry Potter. And if that doesn't grab your attention, I don't know what fucking will. So let's jump into this. The story follows a young wizard named, well, young in the sense that this 20 years ago, Oliver Harrison was from a place called the Everkeep, where wizard folk lived, and stayed separate from humanity. He went to a school that was more like a military school and trained him in magic to be child. And he basically says, yeah, we were trained to be child soldiers against this guy called Baron Vanish. And Baron Vanish and his group called the Hollow attacked the school one day, and Oliver was the chosen one to beat him. How did he beat him? He shot the fucker in the head with a pistol. Like, I'm not even... He literally used lead magic. So, 20 years have passed, and Oliver is now a mentally ill, traumatized drug addict and alcoholic who is stumbling around the human world with his wife, who was kind of like the Hermione Grant. Imagine if Harry got married Hermione like we all thought that was logical. So yeah, he's married to his wife, to his longtime lover, Ivy, and he has his best friend, Dustin, who is now a like Chris Angel like magician. They're living in the human world, and now a new group called the Prestige has shown up. But however, Oliver discovers that this superhero group called the Prestige, is actually a group that followed Baron. They got away after he killed Baron, the group called the Hollow, and now they're back, posing as superheroes, pretending to use superpowers. I mean, magic as superpowers. And now Oliver pretends to is now a supervillain to hunt them down and kill them out of revenge for them killing his parents. It's more like unfinished business for him. This comic is, like I said, the best way to describe this is Harry Potter meets The Boys, because what we have here is the team of magic being used as superpowers, and I like that. Like, they even say, like, yeah, the Prestige aren't the first superheroes to show up. They're like Dustin tells Oliver, yeah, dude, superheroes are just exiled wizards. They just use their magic and pretend to be superpowered. And I think that's pretty cool. There's a lot of lore here that they touch on, like the place called the Everkeep, the rules of magic, and it talks about a lot of the trauma. Like, of course, Harry would be thoroughly traumatized after his war with Voldemort, but we never go into it. That's because J.K. Rowling's a terrible person, but that's not the point of this story. So this comic basically says, yeah, you don't walk away from losing both your parents and also fighting in a war for magic that also wiped out a lot of your friends. You don't get over that. There's also a moment where they go on a field. Oliver talks about like why his headmaster keeps magic away from magical beings and what they call citizens, non-magic users, separate. And he showed them. He took them to a field trip to New York in September on a Tuesday. Yeah. It goes there. It's a pretty fucking brutal moment. This whole comic is brutal. This is a depressing, brutal comic, and it's fun. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. It's fun. It's like Donnie Cates off the leash, and Donnie Cates has done a lot of indie books for Image. God Country, which I haven't read yet. Crossover, which again I haven't read yet. But I know him from his Marvel books, and I gotta say, This is some hands down really good stuff. This is only the first 4 issues and it ends on a cliffhanger, and I'm like, no. When I finished reading this, I was like, no, that can't end on a cliffhanger. We can't just be the first 4 issues and over. Fuck! I want to read more. Come on, give me more. Give me another hit. And yeah, it also blurs the line with Oliver, because Oliver, there's a moment in here where we think, who's the good guy and who's the bad guy? And I'm sure like that's going to delve deeper into it, of where everyone stands, because there's a moment here where the Prestige are like, yeah, Baron Vanish was awful, and we're trying to rebuild ourselves. And he's like, nah, dude, that's not how it works. And there's moments in here where you're like, is Oliver the good guy or the bad guy? There's also moments in here where it's like, just some serious gore in here. Like, Donny Cates is in Ryan Stegman. I'd love to show you. I'm going to try to see if I can find, like, yeah, it's Ryan Stegman on artwork. Also, is it just me, or is the character like Oliver Harrison looks a lot, it's just suspiciously like Jackie Estacado from The Darkness. And I kind of have this feeling that The Darkness, Spawn, and some other Image characters, because Donny Cates has admitted that, yeah, I grew up in the 90s where Image Comics had, like, chains and stuff. Like, chains are cool. And I'm like, can't argue with that. And I have this weird feeling that Donny Cates wants to write Spawn. He wants to do an issue of Spawn. And I'm pretty sure, I think Ryan Stegman has done Spawn. I'm not 100% sure, but if he hasn't, I'm like, why hasn't he? There's some great dark artwork in here. It's bloody, it's gory. If you love Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman's Venom, you're going to love this book. I cannot wait for Volume 2. I am always down for what... I'm always a fan of Donny Cates. And also, I want to talk about something real quick. For those who don't know, and I don't know the full thing, but Donny Cates has been suffering some personal problems. And I've seen a few channels kind of jump on that and claim that it's like, oh, Marvel got rid of him because he was, he wasn't abiding by the wokeness. And I'm like, that's literally not what happened. He wasn't let go by Marvel. They're waiting for him to come back. And shame on fucking all of you for trying to push that rumor out there. That's awful. So, yeah. Donny Cates has been dealing with some personal stuff that involve, like, I think someone said, like, it involves, like, he had Aftershock Comics was trying to screw him out of something, as well as some other personal problems that caused him to fall off from Thor and his runs on Thor and Hulk. That's why they ended prematurely. But, yeah, that just kind of got under my skin, and I saw some channels, like, try to manipulate and lie about the whole situation about what's going on with Donny, because we don't know, but it's not because Marvel kicked him off. They said, go deal with your stuff, you're our golden boy, come back when you're ready. But anyway, so I just wanted to get that off my chest. Anyway, do I recommend Vanish? Fuck yeah, I do. I fucking highly recommend Vanish. Chris, thank you so much for sending me this book. It just came out this week, if you're wondering. If you want to check this out, this just came out this week in trade. So yeah, Volume 2, I believe, will be coming out in September, if I'm not mistaken, but yeah. Anyway, so hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.